Sir, you just spent the better part of an hour explaining why Americans should choose you and not your opponent. Yesterday you said on Twitter, be careful what you wish for. I guess the question is, do you see yourself as the underdog in this race? Do you see yourself losing in the fall?
No, I don't. I think we have really good poll numbers. They're not suppression polls, they're real polls. You look at the intercoastal in Florida, you look at the lakes, you see thousands of boats with Trump signs, American signs. You've got the Trump-Pence sign all over. You look at what's going on. You look at bikers for miles and miles riding up highways proudly with their signs. Look, we won a race where it was the same thing, 2016. We had polls that were fake. They turned out to be fake. Not all. A couple of them got it right. 3 of them, to be exact. 3 of them. One of them was unsuspecting. But they got it right. They were very proud of it. But we had in 2016 something even more so, but we got in, and we had 306 to, I guess, 223, which was a tremendous margin of difference. You remember they all said he cannot get to 270. I went to Maine a number of times where we just freed up lobster fishing and fishing.
Right off the bat, Trump says he has really good poll numbers. So without any delay, let's take a look at Donald Trump's poll numbers so we can see just how good they are. Trump's own approval ratings average out to a net 15% disapproval in the United States, essentially the lowest we've ever seen from an incumbent president at this point in the race. As for head-to-head polls of Trump versus Biden in battleground states, according to the newest New York Times Siena College poll, Biden is leading in all of them. He's up 11 in Michigan, 11 in Wisconsin, 10 in Pennsylvania, 6 in Florida, 7 in Arizona, and 9 in North Carolina. These are all states that Trump won in 2016, and the polling shows him trailing in every single one of them. And by the way, the warning signs aren't just from the battleground states. Even what were thought of as deep red states are now teetering on the brink of toss-ups, with Trump polling only 4 points ahead in Montana and only 2 points ahead in Texas. So to claim that he has good poll numbers is nothing more than a wholesale denial of reality. But almost as sad as Trump referencing non-existent poll numbers is the guy defending himself and his re-election prospects by pointing out that in some lake in Florida, there are boats with Trump signs, that there are bikers with Trump signs. I mean, there's a part of me that doesn't even want to make fun of this because it's more sad and pathetic than it even is misguided. You have the President of the United States pointing to his greatest strength in the upcoming election as being the fact that there are Trump signs on boats and motorcycles. How's that for a selling point? And of course, he eventually defers to what else but the 2016 election. And it explains everything perfectly, because Trump's only strategy here is the exact same thing as 2016. That's why even after historic civil rights demonstrations for black rights, Trump's position is against the protesters. That's why Trump is still demonizing immigrants on an almost daily basis. That's why Trump is defending Confederate statues despite their links to slavery. Everything he does is to pander to a base that is far right, white, and accepting of racism. There's no broadening of his coalition. There's been no effort to unify the country. Since day one, it's been appealing only to his base and hoping that he'll garner enough enthusiasm from them by feeding them the most incendiary and divisive rhetoric he can cook up. He so wants 2016 to happen all over again that he's literally repeating his playbook to a T. The only problem, of course, is that the landscape surrounding him isn't the same. We're now mired in the world's worst outbreak because of his own failed response. We're dealing with an economic recession and 20 million Americans who are unemployed. We're dealing with unprecedented civil rights demonstrations. We're dealing with the dangerous effects of climate change that his refusal to address is only exacerbated. And so the same populist gaslighting that got Trump into the White House isn't going to work now that the American people have seen firsthand that all Trump was selling was empty promises. So rest assured, Trump will continue to commit to this doomed strategy because the only thing he knows how to do is one thing. He only knows how to pump himself up with grandiose promises of greatness while vilifying his enemies as being grossly incompetent. The thing is, Trump's now had 4 years to run the country, and I don't think anyone would look around at the mess we're in and think for even a second that we've achieved greatness. And even worse, all of those horrible things he's accused his opponents of, pale in comparison to the type of leader he's turned out to be. He pretends that Obama was corrupt, while he's been extorting foreign countries for dirt on opponents and committing campaign finance violations and orchestrating cover-ups. He pretends that Biden is confused, while Trump holds rallies, like this one, that amount to little more than a rambling diatribe with no through line or coherency. In reality, the only thing Trump does have going for him is his ability to project. So Trump can continue to gaslight the American people about how great he's doing in the polls, but unless those voters in that little lake in Florida are the only people who are voting on November 3rd, Trump is in for a rude awakening. And don't forget to listen to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll take a deep dive into the biggest issues of the week and interview major players in the world of politics, like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Beto O'Rourke, Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.